Hello everyone, Krydex here, and welcome back to pYanodon's Season 3. Picking up right where we left off with cotton gut breeding and reproduction. And getting our moon drops built up over here. And we'll bring those over. And we need those for our pup raising protocol. I also need wood. I don't have wood anywhere near here. I do. How much do I need? It's 1 wood per stud. Am I okay stealing a little bit from batteries? I think I am. Especially if I increase this caravan's wood fetching potential. I'd much rather do this than grab, you know, because wood is not that small to make, right? You need a fastwood forestry, you need a wood processing unit, you need a botanical nursery, you need a processing, why don't I just do it like this? You need a assembler to process the tree seeds. So that's 4 buildings, 3 of which are, 1 of which is huge, and 2 of which are large. The wood processing unit and the botanical nursery, I would say, are large buildings. The assembler is small. But, like, that's just a lot for a small trickle of wood. Now, I do realize that what I just set up means that if batteries get backed up, I'm not going to be getting wood for cotton gut studs. I do realize that. I'm aware of that, and I hope it won't screw me over. And so for now, we want all studs to go into pup raising protocol. And then once we're out of pups, then we switch everyone back over to make some pups. And then we'll do that one more time. And then at that point, we should be, you know, able to have both running at the same time. Maybe 2 more cycles before that. Yeah, it's looking good. Moon drops are stuck. Because I have enough seeds. That's how we want this to work. What's the actual rate of moon drops here? 0.171. It's 10 times what we need for this. Granted, this will get faster with more modules, but still, should be enough. And yeah, eggs are gonna spoil. That's fine. We do need to deal with this biocrud. We already have biocrud getting dealt with on this belt. So that actually works out fine. In fact, it works out perfect, doesn't it? Because the biocrud is a direct result of fish making. And aren't we gonna get more... Uh-oh. So we need 10 biomass to make 10 fish. 10 fish then makes roughly 20 eggs. And then that 20 eggs will then make 20 biocrud. And then that 20 biocrud will make 60 biomass. I actually am going to have too much biomass. Well, or too much biocrud. Oh, but that's why I set up the burner. Okay, we already handled that. We're good. Yeah. If I have more than 2,000 biocrud, we start ditching it. And if we're making fish normally, we're actually going to use up the biocrud from previous times where things backed up. So overall, it should be fine. You know, the only way we would ever back up is like we barely need any fish, so it starts the whole cycle again and then spoils a ton of fish eggs. You know what I mean? Also, this, I guess, is a little bit problematic. But you know what? I'm not worried about it. This is just for studs. We'll get there eventually. What is the recipe time on this? It is not fast. It's a 50-second recipe. And we are still only at 0.3 speed. So we're talking 150 seconds right now per stud. And this is the last 3. And once these 3 are done, then we need to switch back to a new pup. So I have about 4 minutes or so to deal with that. Do I want to mine salt right now? I don't know. I'm going to check cotton guts off just because we've begun the process. I need to check back with them. Am I going to need to mine salt before logistic science? I guess that's a question I should look into. Because I already have the augs we need. Rich clay we're probably going to make from ash. Ralasia seeds. How much Ralasia is that? Is that a lot of Ralasia? Did I set up Ralasia somewhere? Or have we not set that up anywhere? I don't think I've set up Ralasia anywhere. I just want to get a ratio. Oh, no, we did in here. That's right. So to produce, well, this is kind of hard because it's 2 things, but producing about 0.3 Ralasia seeds per second is about 5 plantations. Is that, yeah, that's about right. So for green science, we need 0.075, so that'll just be a couple plantations. Not very much. We do need to control click those into their own thing. We're gonna link it. Interesting that it's defaulting to 0. What's going on here? It's linked. We have the need. Why is it not? Oh, Hellmod. How we love you. What's the problem here? So that works. We move that into its own row and link it, and that should work as well. Okay. And then we add this, and then it freaks out. But if I matrix solver it, will it work? No, it's still not working. Huh. Even with this being the main output? And then it seems to just not be happy. Because what's weird is if I type in 0.075 and then I matrix solve, it should work properly. Yeah, it works properly there. Do I need to ignore that one? Maybe that's the problem. No, it doesn't seem to... It doesn't seem to catch the Ralasia seeds being produced for whatever reason and tie it to this number. I'm feeling like this one is an actual bug and not just my user error. And it's also weird because it's broken now. Like I've clicked a lot of things. Oh, no, never mind. That was set to negative. No, it's still broken. Like it's not actually setting. Even if I reset, it's now not properly tied. Yeah. Yeah, I'll probably send this timestamp to the report, because like this should be, like if I've reset everything, it should be seeing that we have, you know, the Ralasia seeds as the output, and it's linked, and even linking it and unlinking it doesn't fix it. So something's going on here that's not quite right. And then on top of that, when it is properly linked, oop, didn't like that. There's another bug. Oh yeah, see, it's like glitching out even when I move the whole row. So something was bugged out with that. And then when I click on this, and then I make it its own block, because I want to use Matrix Solver to provide those 0.075 seeds. Here, if I Matrix Solver, I should be able to, like, you know, prioritize that output or deprioritize the Ralasia so it knows that, like, that's the main thing we're outputting. Because if it works with me manually typing in, see, like, that breaks it. But if I manually type in 0.075, it works. Right? And that tells me that something's wrong, because it should be able to essentially find, you know, because this is selected as the product. That's what that little target is supposed to mean. So because that's the little target, it should know that this whole block needs to pick the number for that thing that matches whatever is needed above it. You know, just like normally, you know, hey, it needs to, we need 0.075 Ralasia seeds. This block makes Ralasia seeds, so it should set this block's number to 0.075, just like I manually did typing it in. But I had to manually type it here. So then that's not gonna work if we change our logistics to 0.2. Now our Ralasia seed number is correct? What the hell? Wait, what? What on earth? It doubled. Oh, it's doing that weird thing again where it doubled the number of blocks. But the block itself. Oh no. So what if I had typed in 0.01? Oh. So if I manually type in a number, it will work, and it'll tell me how many of those blocks I need. That still isn't quite what we want, though. The behavior that we'd want is that we don't have to manually type in a number at all, and it just ties the Ralasia to the proper amount, making one block, right? That would be the desired behavior. So a little bit buggy. It does seem like it sort of has a workaround when you manually type in a number, but then it's doing that weird thing where it wants a different number of blocks. So when you look at the block, that's not actually telling you what you need, because that would be to get 0.1. So you actually have to go out and look. Yeah, I'd rather just have it be, again, defaulting to one block is needed. It sets this number manually to be linked. That's what the linking is normally doing. So something's a little off with that. Anyway, the point is I need only like one Ralasia plantation for green science. That's that's the summary. A good little 6 or 7 minute Hellmod rant as usual. But yeah, what else do we need? We need plasmids, 0.017 of them. Batteries. Poor alien samples is mostly just... Wait, where is that one? This thing. We need a little bit of urea, a few incubated petri dishes, which is going to be annoying. But the biological samples hopefully don't spoil. Yeah, those don't decay. Do we need to check for decay on anything else? Does urea decay? I don't think it does. No. Anything else that might decay in here? I don't think so. I mean, unless some of these final pieces decay. Logistic, science, animal samples. Oh, damn it. Those decay as well? That's annoying. That's really annoying. And the animal samples decay fairly quickly compared to the things you know, the things that you put into them take hours and hours and hours to decay, but the alien samples decay after just 1 hour. Oh, that's so annoying. Okay. Okay, fair enough. And the Sarcoruses decay pretty quick too, only 29 minutes. And they decay into something that's completely different than their ingredients. Completely unrelated to anything you need for logistic science. Ugh. And we use 2 different spoilable materials in the Sarcorus. Oh gosh. Wow. That's messy. So it's just annoying. Everything that decays, it means you can't just put it on a belt and let it back up. You can't just do that. And that's really what we want to do for this kind of stuff. So you kind of have to prevent. And it's really tricky because the essence of what you want to do is you want to prevent making either of these unless we can use both of them. So we need to measure, do we have a need for logistic science packs? Then we need to measure, do I have all the other ingredients ready to go? And then once everything's ready to go, now I make these and use them. Right? So it's like you need to look ahead and know, I only want to make animal samples if I have the ability to make Sarcoruses at the same time, and I only want to make Sarcoruses if I also have the ability to make the animal samples, because if I make one of them and don't have the other one, then you get yourself into a mess. Now the other way to do it is to only make these when we have a need for logistic science, but then if you run out of one of them, the other one starts spoiling. And that's at least sort of acceptable, because most of the time you're able to make both. You know, you just have to ask yourself, like, am I okay with one of these spoiling if the other one is broken? And the answer is probably yes. Right? Animal samples decay into plasmids. So we get the plasmids back. So we essentially are just losing the skin, blood, lard, meat, guts, brain, bones. We're losing all that. Which is a lot, you know, but it's all stuff that's spoilable as well. So it's like, it's not that, you know, you just recycle the plasmids and get those again from chopping up more augs. So I'm not too worried about that decaying. The Sarcorus is a bit different because it decays into an unrelated item that we would probably just burn. So we actually lose that full item. However, the input is pretty cheap. The depolymerized organics, though, might not be. That's just liquid manure. Never mind, that's not that big of a deal. So we lose a little bit of manure, we lose some cotton gut, we lose a tiny bit of plasmid. You know, for every Sarcorus that that we lose, we're only losing 1 plasmids. Plasmids are expensive, so we would obviously only want to make Sarcoruses that are needed. So what we could even do, because I kind of only care about one of these 2 things spoiling, Oh wait, substrate doesn't spoil. Sorry. I thought substrate spoiled. It's what makes substrate that spoils. Anyway, what I was saying is we could just make it so that we only produce Sarcoruses if we already have a couple animal samples. And that way, we might end up making animal samples that decay because we're not getting any Sarcoruses, but we won't end up wasting Sarcoruses constantly. And all of those things will also have an and requirement on needing logistic science. I will not produce either of these if I'm backed up on logistic science. That feels like a good plan. So let's actually make a plan, because that's a plan that's not in writing. Let's make a plan in writing. So what all do we need to actually do for this? We need to pick... I'll just call this logic planning. So we need to pick a site for Logisci production. On-site Sarcorus, on-site animal samples. Require, so I'm thinking like circuit planning here. So we need the animal samples, requires low Logisci. The less than just means we're low on that. On-site Sarcorus requires having animal sample and low Logisci. Now this, they both need spoilables as ingredients. I'm not worried about losing some flora. We can even just spend some steam to reconstitute that if we want, or we can burn it or whatever. So I'm not worried about that one. What I'm a bit more worried about is all these spoiling. So we also have to consider animal sample ingredient spoilage. So request only if low Logisci. So we're not even bringing those spoilable bits of animal. That can be a little tricky. Maybe I can do an interrupt caravan now that that's a thing. Everything else I'm not too worried about. And I might just try to ramp up my plasmids production. Do I need the laboratory instruments for something else? Or is it only for plasmids? It's only for retrovirus and plasmids. And we don't need retrovirus, that's for cDNA. So yeah, it is just for plasmids. So I could just ramp up my plasmids production. Oh, we forgot about this. I got a little too distracted. Got a little too distracted here. Okay, so plasmid production here. I can just add a second one of these and keep using this caravan for plasmid stuff. And plasmids don't spoil, so I can ship those on a belt or a caravan or something. The butchering of... I'm planning to butcher augs for everything we need. So I don't have to have these in the same spot. This is already half full, by the way, so I have to handle that at some point. But yeah, I'm thinking we can... Where do I do this? I could butcher the augs down here. So following the chain back, I basically don't want to butcher the AUG until we need... What happened to my... No! I didn't save all the notes that I just wrote? Damn. So it was Sarcoris, requires animal sample, and low Logisci. Animal sample requires low Logisci. And that animal sample ingredients come from render AUG. Also requires low Logisci. So that way, which I guess means we can remove this requirement here, because animal samples will only run if we are rendering AUGs. So we need rendering AUGs to be in the same spot, and that will reduce our spoilage of things. Now, this doesn't make all the right ratios, so then we also need to handle byproducts here. We need to improve plasmid production. What else do we need? We need to make biological samples, which is pretty simple. It just requires some random things. And then that comes together to make the poor alien sample. So where's the best place to do that? Because we need flora, we need incubated petri dishes, which could kind of come from anywhere. The number's so small. We need urea, which comes from manure. And we need Ralasia seeds and bone meal. And bone meal is just steamed bones. Steamed hams. And that does not, I assume, does not decay. It's not even called bone meal. Oh, it's one word. Bone meal does not decay. What's it called? Or, no, alien biological sample? Yeah. I just want to see what all decays. Okay. So we'll make the petri dishes on site. The flora can come from wherever. Urea, Ralasia, and bone meal. And the bones are going to come from rendering AUGs too. So we want to do this close to wherever we need all the other stuff. And then we're going to need ash delivered. So we need water, ash, soil. And that's literally it to make ground samples. That's so easy. So it's really urea, bones, and Ralasia. The flora, I'm not too worried about putting on a belt from somewhere. We also kind of have flora everywhere already. Hey, we got lucky. Perfect. Boom. So now we have 9 more stud pups to grow up. Wait, did I get the full... Wait, what? Oh, it must have run 2 recipes. Because I have 9 plus 3. I have 12. Yeah, somehow we must have gotten 2 recipes going. I wonder if it started 1 recipe, but it was still at 0% because we didn't have any studs in here. That might have been what happened. Anyway, we've got 12 studs on the way. I just need to keep putting them back in here to speed up the process. But yeah, this is not going to be too bad. We have urea right here. I'm thinking we just used that. I think the production was more than we needed, right? 3.75. Well, the easiest thing is to just... This is why I love planning things in Hellmod, is we can just look back and be like, Okay, how much urea are we actually going to get from this? Do I have enough Zogna to handle that? Do I have enough manure to handle that? You know, these are the questions. So manure-wise, batteries are consuming a full-on 10 paddocks. And I never increased moss production, did I? Shoot. Zogna... How many seaweeds do I have going? Wait, where's the seaweed coming from? Wait, what is going on? Oh, it's the seaweed for those, right, which is over here. Yeah, the alg paddocks, I just don't have enough moss if we're using all that manure. So we may need to improve moss production, but more or less we're pretty close to what we need there. So I can siphon the urea off here. We can use this manure for depolymerized organics. We've got flora already right there, so we can bring that flora. So I think making green science over here is not crazy, and we'll use a caravan to bring in a bunch of the random stuff like ash, a little bit of wood, you know, stuff like that. We'll have the cotton guts here. We've already got the algs over here. We'll have to bring over the plasmids with a caravan. Any random metals that we need, we'll bring over with the caravan. We've already got the batteries right here. So I actually think this is not a bad spot. We're only gonna have to bring a few things even with a caravan, to be honest. Yeah. Subcritical water. That's just a... Oh. A non-zero amount of biomass. What the heck is subcritical water again? Google subcritical water. Liquid water at temperature and pressure below its critical point. So that just means it's not boiling? Is that what it means? Critical point. Subcritical is just liquid water. Literally all it is. What is going on? According to graphs that I'm looking at, it's just hot water. Oh, sorry. It's above boiling temperature potentially, but because it's under high enough pressure, it's not boiling. So it's high pressure water. High pressure, high temperature, I think is what it's referring to. I mean, it's got the full little thermometer there for a reason. Anyway, that's besides the point. Okay, so what are we doing here? What's life? What is life? I think we're pretty much ready to go. Yeah, I mean, the problem is with my new plan, a lot of these buildings aren't needed. So I have to be a little bit pickier. I need 2 slaughterhouses, I need a heat exchanger, I need a reformer. Let's start with that. Slaughterhouses. Oh, I'm in map view. 2 slaughterhouses. Oh dear. Reformer. We're completely out of iron. Alright, well, let's update this. See, I think it's actually running a recipe right now. If I were to move one over. Is that true? No. I guess not. How did I end up with 2 recipes worth then? Because I swear, once we saw it was running, I took the rest and put them down here. And And that should have only resulted in one result. I don't know what happened. I'm sure if I were to rewind the tapes, it would be clear, but I don't. My memory isn't doing it for me. All right, let's get all the stuff we need. Because we're gonna need a lot. I'm gonna chill on those for now. And we also need to trash a bunch of stuff in our inventory. Trash a bunch of stuff, like 2 graphite, some moss, some seeds, some biomass, some borax, some ash, a bunch of stone, powdered aluminum, a bunch of rock coal, some antimony. Oh, by the way, someone was asking about armor. I believe it was Kvist, was reminding me I haven't made heavy armor. And that's 20 more inventory slots. So let's go do that. I totally looked at it at one point and I was like, oh, we need to go do that. And then I don't remember what happened or why we didn't do it. But yeah, that should be easy enough. I just need to steal some latex slabs here. Hey, gimme. Gimme, gimme, gimme. No fair. I needed that. Alright. 4 latex slabs, 20 duralumin, and we are inventory for days. Duralumin. I am stockpiling that somewhere. There we go. Oh, it's finally building up. Look at that. I bet all that aluminum's helping. There's a heavy armor. And the grid is much larger. Not that that matters yet, but oof, delicious. Look at all that inventory space. So much room for activities in my inventory. Alright, let's grab a bit more duralumin. Let's grab some lead. Let's grab the copper. A bunch of iron. Titanium? Yeah, 2 slots is good. I don't need antimox. I don't need nickel. I don't know why I'm carrying around 300 nickel. That's just been wasting space. We don't need nexolite. I don't need chromium, except for very specific things. Same with zinc. So that all looks fine. Let me grab some more steel, because I'll probably need a lot of that. Alright. Reformer. And then we also said we needed... Well, we're going to need a chemical... No. Research center, gene lab. Research center. Those are the expensive ones. When I was thinking labs were expensive, this is what I was thinking of. Research center. Gene lab. Also very expensive. And then we need an incubator and pretty much it. And the 2 slaughterhouses and a heat exchanger. All right, incubator, heat exchanger needs mechanical parts. The first time we've needed mechanical parts. Also, that would really throw you for a loop if you thought you could manage without mechanical parts before pyscience. That would be a rude awakening. Okay, I still can't make it. Why not? I need an automated factory, which needs... Oh, we just straight up need gearboxes and shafts to make these. 2 gearboxes, 2 shaft. 2 gearbox, 1. Unfortunately, we don't have a second one. But we might find one as an ingredient for the trains. All right. So heat exchanger. It's infusion energy. I need to learn to find these without searching. All right, there's a heat exchanger, and that should be most of the weird buildings I need, within a few standard deviations. Okay. What am I checking on? The mice. Keep the mice going. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sweet. Now, how did we get biocred in here? Oh, I know how. It's just because I don't have a filter. Because this one is the one where fish eggs spoil. It's going to output stuff. So we just need to blacklist crud. Okay. Sweet. Getting a little faster here. We've still got another 5 studs on the way, which is enough for a full building. Cool, cool, cool. So, green science is going to be over here somewhere. And maybe I'll use the caravan to deliver green science or something. Not sure yet. But yeah, I'll leave this area and then green science will be on this side. That might be a little too far. Maybe I'll put it here-ish. Yeah, why don't I make the dividing line like right here? And then we will use our lovely little drones to handle this mess. They're pretty dang fast when you've got 20 of them. And I could craft more, I just didn't want to take more inventory slots, but at this point it might be worth it to have 30. They'd go even faster. And it would be even more satisfying to watch. It would be a veritable army of robots. Alright, anyway, okay, so the final step is the research center. And I'm gonna space it out from the corner by an entire building. Okay, and I'll probably ship these over to the research area with a caravan. I might have multiple caravan outposts here, but we're definitely gonna have one, at least. Now, because I am wanting things to not spoil, I probably should direct feed those two. So we want the gene lab and the incubator to be literally next to the building. Maybe something like this, with some space between them. I can use long inserters here. Because, yeah, we want to make sure we're not buffering these at all anyway, so direct insertion should work fine. And then, so I'll need the slaughterhouses near this one. Need a little bit more space. And then you're gonna be full rendering AUGs. Yeah, I mean this is looking okay. And then the pore the batteries will just come in on the belt, and then the pore samples. This is really not bad. I'm excited about this. What do we need for the pore samples? Alms for the poor. We need a burner, assembler plus 2 more burner assemblers to make what we need for them. And then we need the ash and the clay, so that's another burner assembler. So 3 burner assemblers plus FBR, fluidized bed reactor. Fluidized bed reactor plus an electric boiler. Plus like 3 or 4 of these should get me what we need. We'll need wood for all 3 of those. But this one will make the... It's not an alien life? Have I researched green science? I did. Surely I did. Yeah, no, I did. Why can't I find biological sample? Oh, it's in coal processing. Right. Okay, so you're making poor alien samples. That needs these 2. None of this spoils, right? Correct. All right. So we make those. Don't we need ground samples for something else? I feel like I'm having a memory. Maybe. For our initial Fawoge. What is this? That's some turd recipe. I don't understand that. Okay, no, we don't need them for anything else. And we don't need these for anything else for a very long time. All right, we'll ignore that. Not even gonna look at that recipe. It scared me. I'm noping out of that pretty hard. So then the wood for all of these will be on this belt. All right, so that's the wood supply. And then we just gotta bring all this crap. That one's just water and ash. This one is a lot more than that. And we'll need the fluidized bed reactor somewhere down here to steam them bones. And then we'll bring in petri dishes. So I need a microorganism mine to incubate those. And then flora will just come in on that belt. That's fine. And we can even just reconstitute the flora with the steam that we already have here, so that's easy enough if I want to. So then we don't have to worry about losing as much to spoilage. We still lose some to spoilage, but if you think about it, you get back, isn't it like 75%? Yeah, you get back 75%. Exactly. And that means every 3.5 hours, you lose 25% of your flora. But you don't, because that... Wait, what am I saying? No, you do. You lose a full 25%. But the flora that spoils, then, 3 hours later, you'll get 75% of that back. And then you'll get 75% of that back. So it's like the actual amount that you lose is just so tiny. If your buffer, whether that's a buffer on a belt or whether that's a buffer in chests or, caravans are carrying things to you, if you have 1,000 flora, you're only losing 250 flora every 3.5 hours. And that maths out to 250 flora every 3. It's not technically 3.5, but it's close enough. Times 3,600 seconds. That is 0.02 flora per second that you're actually losing. That's not very much. I mean, that's 1/50th of one flora miner. That's nothing. So really, I think I'm worried too much about that. Even if I don't recycle it, I'm only losing 4 times that amount, which is still only 0.08 flora per second, even if it's constantly spoiling forever. So it's just not worth worrying that much about it, is the opinion that I'm increasingly keen on. Like, I don't even think I'm worried about recycling it. We're just gonna bring in flora, it'll spoil from time to time, and I just need to burn it or deal with it. Now it might actually be easier to reconstitute it than to burn it. That might be the truth. Because the problem is fluorospolinin doesn't burn because it's fuel. I think. Yeah, it actually doesn't burn. So I could turn it into biomass, of course. But then if I turn it into biomass, we can't burn the biomass either. I have no way to just delete biomass. Ooh. Oh, but we do need it for subcritical water. So could I turn the fluorospolinin into biomass that then gets turned into subcritical water? And then I can vent excess subcritical water. This is such a crazy plan, but it would work. It's definitely possible. I'm not sure if that's how I want to do it yet, but we'll keep that in mind. That'll be tomorrow Krydax's problem, or might be later than tomorrow even. Might be a few weeks from now. But yeah, we're gonna be bringing a couple fluids from over here, namely the manure, which is right here, and the water, which is up here. Alright. I got that going. And we'll just bring that over right here. And we got another water issue. You guys are gonna judge me all day long for using those pumps instead of the underground pumps. It's fine. I don't mind. I don't mind one little bit. Of course it doesn't space out nicely. All right, we'll get some light over here. And we are beginning to get set up for logistics science. We're still probably a couple episodes away from that, but it's happening. And continuing our cotton gut farming here. We've got no easy way to do this, I guess. Oh, I need the 2 to run the recipe. There we go. All right, and then back to making the pups after this. And then finally we'll be able to have both buildings running at the same time, because this one runs way faster than this one needs. So like just 2 studs in here should be fast enough to like keep that one going. As you can see, this is only a, 30-second recipe. So pretty fast. All right, and then we'll take all these out. Oh, it decided to run again. Shoot, oh well. So this one is running, I think. It's already started a recipe. But yeah, this should work. We just need a couple more studs here. And the fish are still running happily, which is nice to have that going. Fish oil continues to build up to absurdly huge amounts. I probably should prioritize the guts and bones and stuff from here and just use AUGs for the rest. We're just gonna end up with so much jerky. Like because I'm not using the Vraux, and if I also choose to not use my fish, then we're just like, we've got insane. Also, you can make phytoplankton from jerky. Dave was just talking about this on the Discord. Is this a new recipe? Because I'm making phytoplankton over here from tin. But I could be making 10 phytoplankton from 3 jerky. Now, how much phytoplankton does fish need per fish? So for 0.267 fish, we need 1 phytoplankton. And that will result in... Skin doesn't spoil that, so I would only get 0.23 jerky from 1 phytoplankton. So 10 phytoplankton would make about 2. Okay. If you do choose to go that route, you could get most of your phytoplankton from jerky, but not all of it. You wouldn't have enough meat and guts. It's possible with more efficient fish recipes, more efficient, that you would be able to just source all of your phytoplankton from jerky. The problem is there's an 8-hour delay, right? Or more than that. What's the spoil timers on these things? The delay on guts is like 5 hours. 8 hours, and the delay on meat is 4 hours. So there's a very large delay on getting that jerky, but once it starts, you know, it keeps itself running. But it doesn't actually do that, because we just did the math. The math says it doesn't quite work. I'm guessing there is a fish recipe, you know, that is more productive. You know, like if you were to use this one, then you're getting twice as much fish from the same amount of fish eggs. Well, but then you need bone, anyway. That's besides the point of what I'm getting at now. What I'm getting at now is if you made more fish from the same amount of eggs, you might be okay. And is there multiple recipes for eggs? There are. Wait, what is that? Oh, that's like a turd thing. But yeah, there's also just a better recipe for eggs themselves. So 50 gets you 30 eggs instead of 25. So between all those things, I think you would end up with more phytoplankton than you're using. But it's also just such a tiny amount of tin that seems easier than waiting for jerky to spoil. But you also just might have jerky all over the base and you can't figure out what to do with all of it. So it's like, hey, free phytoplankton. Speaking of free phytoplankton, though, phytoplankton is biomass. So is jerky to phytoplankton to biomass more effective than jerky to biomass? Ooh, have we broken this? No, we didn't. Because these are 8 biomass apiece. So 3 is 24 biomass, gives you 10 phytoplankton, which gives you less than 10 biomass. Never mind. What else can you do with phytoplankton? Anything fun? All sorts of weird stuff. Dilmos. Dilmo egg, that's what they called me in high school. This just feels like such a name to call somebody. Don't be such a Dilmo egg. Oh man, I don't know why that makes me laugh so much. Copper, are we mining enough copper here? Let us make sure that we are. All right. Let's just go check on the mice, and then we'll probably call it for this episode. Because we have other things to do. All right. Mice. 2, 3. I'll put that one in there. For now, though, I will put these in here. So that we can get one recipe done faster. And then we'll switch them over. And done. Alright, so take those out, put those in. Now this is max speed. Now we can put these 2 in here, and everybody's happy. Wait, did I just see that it was running? Oh, it like cancels. Interesting. Okay, there we go. Cool. All right, that should be fully automated now. And we'll just see studs slowly increasing. It's like what, 2 food per stud? A little bit less, I guess, maybe one and a third ish. Because it's 80% for 3 to 8 pups. That's such a, so that's 5.5 on average when it happens. So 5.5 times 80% is 4.4. So 1 food for that recipe gets you 4.4, so it's about 1 1/4 food per stud. So that means if I have 400 food, we should get about 300 and something studs. So that should be more than enough for a while. Each building requires 12 plus 8, so it's 20 per building. Oh yeah, that's enough for 15 buildings at least. 15 Prandium labs, should be good. Awesome. All right, well, I think we'll call it an episode there. As always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next episode.